this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the rear leaf springs in this Chevy Silverado. Let's get into it. On the passenger side, we're going to have to remove the exhaust, take the hangers off. Just like on the driver's side, we had to remove the gas tank. So I'm just going to use a exhaust hanger remover. You can always use a pry bar. We're going to take this lower bolt out, use a 13/16 or a 21mm wrench, and then a 21mm socket on the nut. Nut off, then you can take this bolt out. If you have to, you can hammer it out. Pull that out. If your vehicle has a trailer hitch, you're going to have to remove that. To remove the shackle, because the bolt is positioned in this location and the other side, the bolt would have to go through the frame. You're going to have to remove the leaf spring to do so. If you attempt to take this bolt out, raise the leaf spring up so that you can get the bolt out that way. That is one possibility, but we're going to show you how to take the whole leaf spring out just to get the shackle out. Now I'm going to get a pry bar underneath and just raise up on the shackle. You can use the pull jack and just raise the spring as well. Underneath the differential, I'm just going to use a pull jack to support the differential, take a little bit of tension off the springs. Using a 21mm socket, we're going to take all the U-bolt nuts off. I'm going to heat these up so it's easier to remove them. I'm just going to use an induction heater. This works a little better than a torch. There we go, it's starting to heat up. A little less than 30 seconds. Comes right off. Now I'm going to do the same on the other ones. A little less than 30 seconds. Now we can take this plate out. If it's stuck on there, just use a hammer. Take that off. Get it off the U-bolts. And take the U-bolts out. Take those off. You need to throw these away. They're not reusable. Now I'm just lowering the differential down slightly. And you want to make sure that you only do one side at a time. That way it'll keep the differential from moving too far forward or backwards. Now I need to lower the differential down lower so that I can get that out. I'm going to use a 21mm wrench and 21mm socket. Take the lower shock bolt out. Take that bolt out. Then you can lower this down even further. You can see it separating. And just take a hammer, give it a tap. Remove the old plate. With the muffler down, now I can access the bolt from the inside. I'm going to use a 24mm socket with an extension, and then I can take this nut off with a 24mm socket. Start by loosening this up. Just gonna pry this down. Oh, it's pretty heavy. Make sure you have an assistant help you out. How is that? Stuck in there?
There we go.
All right, come this way. We're gonna replace the shackle while we're doing the leaf spring. It's always a good idea to replace it. Most of the times these are rotted out as well. But if you are reusing it, you can use a 21mm wrench and socket. Take the old one off and transfer it to the new one. So we're just going to use the new one. And we'll line this up over the new leaf spring. Slide the bolt through. and get the nut started on the other end. And keep in mind that this clamp right here goes towards the front of the vehicle, so put your shackle on the back of that leaf spring. There we go. Thanks. There we go. Perfect. Now I'll put this nut on. And we can tighten this down. Snug that down. Then you want to torque this to 125 foot-pounds. And then with a torque angle meter, go an additional 48 degrees. If you don't have one, do the best you can. There we go. Now I'm going to torque these bolts to 70 foot-pounds. Do the same on the top one. Now we're going to put this spacer in where the old one was. And you can see where this part is thicker than the smaller part. And the smaller part is going to go towards the front of the vehicle. So I have the thicker part towards the back. You can slide this in place. If you need to, you can use a pry bar. You can also lower the axle down a little more if you need to. Just pry this in place. Line the pins up, pin on the bottom. Just watch your fingers. You don't want to get stuck in there. There we go. That's lined up. Now put the U-bolts on. And take this plate, line this up through the U-bolts. Take the nuts and the washers. Get the washers started first, then the nut. Do the same for the rest of them. And we're just going to snug these up. We're not going to tighten them down all the way. We'll torque them in the end. But you want them all even. Now we can raise this up, put the shock bolt in. The nut on. Snug that down. And we're going to torque this bolt to 85 foot-pounds. Now we can lower the suspension. Now we want to torque down the U-bolts, make sure they look as even as possible, and we're going to tighten these, and we're going to torque these to 74 foot-pounds in a cross pattern. Then after that, you want to get a torque angle meter and tighten them an additional 180 degrees. If you don't have one, do the best you can. Now line the hangers up. Get those all started.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. the only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.